I never imagined that a quiet evening with friends could unravel everything. I thought I knew about my marriage. It was supposed to be just another night. A simple dinner at our house with James and his best friend Ethan. But the way things unfolded made me question far more than I was ready for. I'm 35, James, and I have been married nearly 10 years, like any couple we've had. Our share of ups and downs, but I believed we were solid, stable content. Comfortable and had always been part of our lives, the kind of friend who felt like family. He had this effortless charm, always knowing when to show up, what to say, how to break the tension. I'd always appreciated his presence, but that night, something felt off. It started so simply. James suggested a casual dinner, just the three of us. Some wine, a good meal, nothing unusual. But when Ethan walked through the door, I noticed an odd shift. Maybe it was the way he looked at me, or how his hug lingered just a little too long. I brushed it off, telling myself I was imagining. Dinner started, easily enough. The guys slipped into their usual rhythm, laughing, trading old stories. I stayed busy in the kitchen, but I could feel Ethan's eyes on me every time I glanced up. He was watching our eyes met once, and there was a flicker of something unspoken, subtle but undeniably. Their James and Ethan were always close, more like brothers than friends. It wasn't unusual for them to dive deep into conversation, letting me handle the food. Normally I didn't mind. It gave me ammo to breathe, but that night it felt different. The air felt charged, and I couldn't put my finger on why. When dinner was ready, we all sat around. Veritable James looked relaxed, happy, even, which made me feel guilty for how distracted I was becoming. Ethan kept glancing at me, and it wasn't casual anymore. His gaze held weight, like he was trying to tell me something without words. Each time our eyes met, something stirred inside me, an uneasy flutter I didn't want to name. After dessert, we moved to the living room. James talked, while Ethan sat closer than usual, his voice low and intimate when he spoke. Every word felt heavy, and I could feel myself slipping into something I didn't understand. Then James stepped out to take a phone call. The moment he left the room, the atmosphere shifted. Ethan leaned in, his tone changing. "There's something about you tonight," he said, voice low and steady. "You seem different." I tried to deflect, laugh it off, but his eyes were locked on mine. "More alive," he added, "more present." My heart was racing, and I didn't know how to respond. His attention felt like a magnet pulling at something buried inside me. James's voice down the hall snapped us both out of it. Ethan pulled back, and just like that, the moment passed. But the feeling stayed that night. In bed, I couldn't stop thinking about Ethan, his words, his gaze, the way everything between us had shifted in the span of a few hours. I told myself to forget it, to move on, but I couldn't. Days passed. Ethan kept visiting like always, sharing beers with James, talking about nothing in particular, but everything felt different. I noticed every glance, every smile, every lingering second of silence between us. I became hyper-aware of his presence, and it scared me. James hadn't changed. He was still kind, thoughtful, the man I loved, but I started to feel distant, like something inside me was quietly unraveling. One evening, while I was cleaning up in the kitchen, I overheard Ethan talking. "You know," he said, "I've always admired how you two have stuck it out. It's not easy." James laughed, brushing it off, but Ethan continued, softer now. "Yeah, but sometimes you wonder if there's more to life, more to love, to." Feeling his words stopped me cold. I stood there staring into the sink, the weight of that moment settling deep in my chest. The tension between Ethan and me only grew. We never spoke about it, but it was there in every look, every breath. Then one Saturday, James ran out to do errands, leaving me and Ethan alone. Again we sat in the living room, the silence, stretching. Finally, Ethan broke it. "You've been avoiding me," he said, his hook my head. I haven't, I lied. But we both knew better. He leaned forward. You don't have to figure it all out right now, but you should know I don't think what's happening between us is a mistake. His hand brushed mine, grounding me. You don't owe me anything, he said gently. You owe it to yourself to be honest about what you feel. I looked down at our hands torn. I loved James. I didn't want to hurt him. But something inside me had shifted. Something I couldn't unfeel. I think I need some time. I whispered, my voice didn't shake for once. I felt certain Ethan nodded. Take all the time you need. Just don't forget you deserve to be happy.